So I've been using the Sigma 16mm 1.4 for over a week now, and oh my gosh, this lens is dope. You may have seen my last video shoot which I created with this lens on my last video on YouTube, but if you haven't, I suggest you check it out. The link is right here. It's sharp, it has fast autofocus, and wow, that damn 1.4 wide aperture. Whew! I know what you're thinking.
This is the kind of thing that just tickles my balls.
Well, maybe not exactly that, but pretty close, am I right? Anyway, just like to say, we are doing a giveaway on this channel. This is the first one. It'll be a small Linden camera bag, so it's really nice for traveling. It's compact, it can fit, you know, a couple of lenses, DSLRs, and a couple of other little things. So be sure to stick around to the end for further details on that. Anyway, let's get into the review.
I'm a kid for you.
What's going on YouTube? It's Jason Morris here, back with another APS-C lens review. In this video, I'm going to talk about the Sigma 16mm 1.4 DCDN for the Sony APS-C range. Before we continue, I'd just like to remind you to like this video and subscribe, as this helps me create more content for you guys. Also, comment below on your thoughts on this lens and your experience with it. I would love to know, and I'm pretty sure some of my subscribers would like to know as well. So this lens can be used on any of the Sony NEX range, including the a6000, a6300, or a6500. You can also use it on full frame, but like the APS-C lenses, you will experience some heavy vignetting unless you use a crop mode on your full frame camera. Now, I've used this in my a7 III, and it makes a nice 24mm equivalent. It performs pretty good for video, but obviously for photo, you're gonna get a cropped image with a smaller megapixel count, obviously on that full frame camera. So getting down to some of the specs. Now the 16mm 1.4 is a comfortable wide angle 24mm full frame equivalent lens with an ultra fast maximum aperture. Characterized by its bright 1.4 aperture, this lens is brilliant for working under low light situations, and can also give you increased control over that depth of field to give you that nice buttery smooth bokeh. The great thing about this lens design is that it's rounded 9-blade diaphragm, which contributes to that pleasing bokeh quality. This lens has a nice quiet autofocus motor, which limits the noise if you're using the on-camera mic. It also focuses nice and fast under most situations. Now, additionally, it is well constructed and very solid and sports a nice weather-sealed body for most weather conditions. Unfortunately, the a6000 doesn't have really good weather sealing, so I probably won't take it out in any harsh conditions anytime soon anyway. So unfortunately, there is one downside to owning this lens with the a6000, and obviously my usage of it with video. It's the lack of in-body stabilization, or OSS, on the lens. Now the a6000 a6300 doesn't have IBIS, or in-body stabilization as they call it. So for video work, you'll need a Steadicam or gimbal just to minimize those micro jitters. Usually for wide lenses, it's not really necessary to have that OSS due to the wide view. You don't really get too much shake. But in saying that, with photography, having an OSS in the lens really helps when you want to do some handheld shots at low shutter speeds. It's obviously just to let more light in rather than increasing your ISO. So anyway, I'm going to roll some B-roll footage of using this handheld and obviously on the gimbal.
I like me better when I'm with you.
Okay, so let's have a look at some photos I've taken with this lens, and then we'll go through some lens sharpness tests. Now let's get into the sharpness of this lens. So jumping into Lightroom, and you can see there's a little bit of barrel distortion. All you need to do is enable the profile corrections and it will straighten it up quite nicely. Now let's jump into the center of the image, and you can see it's very sharp with high contrast, moving into the corners, and it's very sharp also. A little bit of chromatic aberration. You just gotta press that remove chromatic aberration button as well, and that should get rid of it there. Now stopping it down to f2 in the center, same again, high contrast, really sharp, and also really sharp in the corner once again. Stopping it down to f2.8, sharpness stays in the center and in the corner. f4, exactly the same. f8, let's jump into the center. It's still nice and sharp in the corners as well. Now stopping it down to f11, any sort of diffraction, it's still nice and sharp and high contrast. And we'll stop it down finally at f16, and you can see there's a little bit of lens diffraction here. It's losing a little bit of the contrast, and similar thing in the corner. But overall, that test, absolutely fantastic lens. This is one of the sharpest lenses I've ever tested. Great work, Sigma. So in my opinion, this lens is absolutely fantastic, and it is a must to get for your Sony APS-C range camera. I'm really enjoying using this crazy wide aperture and low light performance in my photos and videos. This lens will be great for people who want to use it for landscape photography, obviously like establishing a wide shots for video work, and it can also be used for vlogging if needed. Definitely is a step up from that kit lens. So all you have to do is like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel to win this little Linden travel bag. It is very nice and compact, great for traveling. It's also good for, you know, just walking around in general if you want to travel nice and light. Now, just make sure you follow those steps. I'll choose a winner at the end of the month, and obviously I will ship it out as soon as I find a winner. Awesome. Good luck, guys. And remember, my name's Jason Morris, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Me better when I'm with
At least I thought that one. Idiot!